On 10th March 1941, the British decided to have a focal day. This was in the middle of the war, and they needed the effort to be increased. So there were civic guards appointed all over the town. In Gorakhpur this was. And, and the school was told, Boy Scouts can go and watch this, attend to this and become citizens. So they had put up tents and we became citizens. And my keenness was that a Hurricane aircraft was going to fly over and drop something, and then they would let off bombs on the ground to simulate that we are being bombed. And the civic guard is going to take care of letting off the bombs, and there was a paramedical team which take away anybody who was injured. The first thing that happened was, I didn't want to go inside. I couldn't. If I go into a trench with a overhead cover, it was quite a deep trench, one entrance and one exit. Actually, two entrances, you might say, and almost I think 8 feet into the ground, quite deep, because the tallest person was able to stand quite happily inside the trench, and benches put there for the lot. I was the third person to enter it by force. The civic guard, they pulled me and just put me there, because we as citizens were supposed to resist. So he thought it was too realistic. He virtually lifted me. Okay. Now this chap started, the civic guard had a basket full of crackers, slightly bigger than baseball. About that size, black, and they were supposed to be let off. So when the aeroplane he heard, he went out and lit the first one, very close to the mouth of the tunnel, and the wind was blowing from that side. So the hot air from this blast came inside. Now there was a grown man in between the civic guard and me, but he didn't do anything. I said, देखिए भाई साहब, इसको जरा आप इधर टर्न करके एक्सप्लोड करिए, हवा इधर की आ रही है. You think he would listen? Especially to a 13-year-old chico? So what does he do? The next one he explodes, and it set fire to the whole basket of crackers. And that he really injured me and him. The funny part was that the man who was in the middle was fully covered with full sleeves and trousers, and he had some very minor burn marks. But the civic guard suddenly had lost all skin on his arms, all the skin on his stomach, and from the knees. Because of the smoke and so on, everybody else ran out from the other side, including the chap who was in the middle of us. But I looked at the civic guard, I said, this chap can't move. So I helped him out from the other exit where the so-called bomb had gone off. I knew there was no more danger. So when I got out there, I did feel a slight cool breeze on my legs, but didn't pay any attention, called the paramedic and handed over this chap to them. So they took him away. Didn't look at me very carefully. So I went to my tent where my classmate Sardarji got away without getting into the tunnel. So I said, let's watch the aeroplane. He took a look at my legs and started vomiting. So I couldn't stand that. So I came out. Now my father and my mother, as VIPs, were sitting in the front row. My father says to my mother, is Kapil wearing red stockings? She says, he doesn't have red stockings, what are you talking about? He says, look at him going there. I was walking to the tent. Then they realized that something is wrong. By then I realized something is wrong because the air felt quite cool on the legs. No pain, but cool on the legs. So the next thing that happens is I was also picked up by the paramedics, taken to the center. The scoutmaster came and he didn't have a clue how to handle this. So he took dry cotton and wrapped it around the thing where all the skin had disappeared. There was capillary bleeding underneath. And by then my father had called the civil surgeon. Civil surgeon looked at it and he was horrified. So I was taken to the civil hospital. It took the civil surgeon 3 hours to remove the cotton. It got stuck to the leg. And the net result was, eventually it was tending to become septic. So this civil surgeon says to me, "You won't scream, will you?" I said, "No." He says, "It's a scab is forming and I'm going to just pull off the bandages." He pulled off the bandages, and my bravest act was that I did not scream. I did not cry. He was also quite shocked. And then he says, we switched the treatment. And can you imagine what was used? Tannin. That is virtually strong tea. And all this time I couldn't use my legs. And he had warned me that if they don't get off properly, I'll have to cut both of them off below the knee. That was the threat. Eventually, it took a bit of time, but we had not baseball, we used to call it rounders, a modified children's baseball. We played that one day when I could actually more or less jog through a diamond. And soon after that, the commissioner organized a parade. And in that parade, I was given a sanad. A sanad is an official document of meritorious war work. And the civic guard who had got injured was given a watch. And we were standing there with every parade standing. He says कि भैया अगर हमको ये सनद देते और आपको घड़ी तो हम दोनों को ज़्यादा फायदा होता. मैंने कहा, "You're absolutely right." You know what my father did? He tore up the sanad when we got home. He said, "You don't need this," because he didn't want the British favor at all.